What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Let's address the Bitcoin mining fraud. So, we know like Bitcoin uses a lot of energy, but we know the reason why, and because it's necessary to protect the network, and everything uses energy is because we wanted to use energy for a certain thing that's necessary for us. So Bitcoin uses energy to protect the network because it's necessary to protect all everybody's money on the network. So it's not a question of it's not a negotiation of should we uh, use energy less energy or more energy. It's a question about how to protect our money. So, and everybody was trying to say we shouldn't use a different consensus protocol to protect this money. Is somebody you should be taking very skeptical about because they may have malicious intention to just hack the network and steal all the money. So that's why I just wanna address this issue about around Bitcoin energy use. Bitcoin use less than 0.5% of total global energy use, which is basically 0.5, less than 0.5%, or even higher, depending on when you're listening to this, you're watching this. So it can be higher. I think it's gonna go over 50% of energy use. So it's just the beginning, and it's really not a bad thing because first of all, um, Bitcoin will stabilize the grid and it will make it better for everyone. It will make energy very cheap because it will incentivize more investment on renewable energy, which is the cheapest form of energy, and nuclear energy, which is basically very low. And even in the future, if we discover a way to have fusion energy, nuclear fusion energy. Um, no, like the Bitcoin energy use is brought up by people who don't really care about the network, or people who just wanna break the network and they just want to get rid of Bitcoin. They don't like Bitcoin. That's okay. Um, they don't really talk about how Bitcoin is protecting the environment by with all these miners going to capture flare gas going in that would be going in the atmosphere anyway from those Bitcoin refineries. No, from those oil refineries. Excuse me. Who are using throwing those flare gas in the atmosphere. By the way, the city where I'm living here right now, there's a 24/7 flare gas going to in the atmosphere from the refinery over there. So now you say, okay, well, that really doesn't really matter because Bitcoin uses much more energy than that. Yeah, that's right. But most of this energy are coming from renewables. Like 50, more than 50% of Bitcoin energy are renewables, which is basically uh, since last year when they banned in 2021 when China banned Bitcoin, most of the energy was being used from coal, which was very like really cheap. That energy that incentivized the Bitcoin miners to go there and extract the coal to mine Bitcoin. Now they were banned from this, so now they moved to North America. Now they are using very cheap renewable energy that had no utility. So because of Bitcoin mining, now they are able to monetize those type of energy, which is like in Canada, you see in BC, there's like a new renewable energy plant, like which is like hydro, that was they're like not doing anything, just generating any power for nothing because just because the city was it's a ghost town. Now they just transform that energy, put it into mining. Now it's creating money like the strongest money ever existed. So you see, like Bitcoin mining is miners they are incentivized to go where energy is cheaper. It's just cheapest, and then it's cleaner because cleaner energy are cheaper, and also because of that, Bitcoin miners will force more investment into renewables in a greener environment, in a greener energy production, because of Bitcoin mining, you can monetize your renewable energy. If I wanna invest in a power plant, in a wind farm, or in a solar farm, I want to make sure that I can make money anytime, right? Not just when it's just sunny or just when it's windy. I want to make sure I can make money anytime. So because of that, you can bring your Bitcoin miners just close to the farm or in the farm where you're having this wind farm or solar farm to mine Bitcoin right there and monetize those energy right there. So because of that, you have a massive incentive to go invest in this in the renewable industry, which before there was no incentives ever before. And because of this, you will see a massive reduction in CO2 in the atmosphere because of Bitcoin mining, right? Nothing else would do that. Anything else before, all the incentives before used to be government subsidizing oil production, like oil companies to produce more oil, which is very bad for the atmosphere. So Bitcoin is doing the opposite. It's subsidizing, um, the Bitcoin subsidy, which is the block reward, is to subsidize miners to mine to generate renewable energy and then sell it to the grid, and then stabilizing the grid. This is what I'm talking about, stabilizing the grid. When you need a lot of energy in the grid, you just unplug the miners and then sell it to the grid, and then when you don't need, you just turn it off. You just when you don't need when you have too much energy in the grid, and then you just you know plug your miners back in, right? 24/7. The Bitcoin network never sleep. So this is really what's going on in this conversation. This is what really under the shadow nobody want to talk about. They just want to talk about the quantity of energy that's being used. They're not talking about the positive side of Bitcoin mining. They just look at the quantity. They say, "Oh, this is how much money, how much energy is going into this industry. Oh, look at how much energy that can be used for one transaction," which is really like really a wrong way to look at it. Because why? Here's why. Because one Bitcoin transaction can really support like 1 million transaction over the Lightning Network. Well, you would say why? Because one transaction basically, you can just open a channel on the Bitcoin network, and then you with this one channel you open on a Moon Wallet or Phoenix, or I teach you guys how to use the Rose Wallet. One transaction you set up there, you can keep doing, like you can make a billion transaction over just by opening one channel in the Lightning Network, right? So one Bitcoin transaction don't really is yes, one Bitcoin transaction on the Bitcoin network. It's not like it's incentive. It has so much more transaction on top of it, right? So it can even go to infinite one transaction. So that's one thing they're not talking about. And yeah, so this is this one side, and also, so it's basically the only way we can really transition to a greener environment, right? To a greener energy production. You see all this like countries turn it off, like nuclear production, like energy production. And what they do, they just they hoping other countries to send them the same type of energy, right? So it's not helping. It's not helping the environment, right? So you see, like of other countries, basically, like you see people say, okay, man, we're gonna go to electric cars. Well, if you need electric car, then you need to use electric energy, green energy. That doesn't mean because you have an electric car, that doesn't mean you are on green. Your power plant, your city power plant can still be on coal. They can still be using dirty energy. And then when you plug in your car to charge your car is using dirty energy. Your battery, that doesn't mean your battery is green. Your battery can still be using dirty energy from your house, okay? Because if your power plant is dirty. But if Bitcoin changes the incentives around this, it can incentivize people to have more wind power, wind farm, right? in a city to generate power for the city, then you have incentives, you have investment that will come in the city in terms of green energy, right? So this is what they're not talking about. And also, where I think Bitcoin energy use will skyrocket, it's an exponential function. Now, for those of you who don't really understand how exponential function works, this is just a simple function, f equal to x to the 2, x squared. So really, basically how it works, and you see on like how this exponentially go up, right? So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's like going to the roof. It's a function 10 to infinity, because the more energy pouring into the Bitcoin mining, the more energy and the more the network grows, the more money the network will be worth, and the more money the network worth, the more money will have to be injected into the Bitcoin mining to secure the network, right? So the Bitcoin mining has to worth more than the Bitcoin like network. To secure, it has to be the price has to be basically proportional to the Bitcoin network price, the total price, right? So you can really secure the network, right? So people are proposing proof of stake. What they don't understand is that they want to get a free ride just by staking things. Just put a bunch of coin on the server and just, oh, they will be secured. But what they're not telling you is that they will be able to censor your transaction. They will be able to freeze your transaction and then steal that money for them. Okay, this is what we already have. We already have a proof of stake, right? So other countries can just freeze other countries' account. They can just freeze citizen account. This is what we already have. It's just a proof of stake. People can just freeze your account. They're just saying, oh, it's more environmental friendly. It's just a buzzword just to get you into it, right? But what they're not telling you, they just want to steal your money, right? So the same people saying, oh, we should use a more environmental friendly like consensus consensus, it's just because you just want to steal your money, right? It's the same thing, right? It's not the surprise that there's people some of the people coming from the altcoin industry, right? The altcoin world, where those clowns just want to tell you, oh, they are using proof of stake, it's more efficient, right? That doesn't mean because you're using less energy, that doesn't mean it's more efficient. I want to know how how secure the network is, like how hard it is for somebody to break it, how hard it is for somebody to steal everything. That's the most important thing. The proof of work. Everything in life is proof of work, right? If you don't work, you don't eat. It's just that simple. Why you want to eat in the back of everybody else without doing any work, right? You're just sitting there being fat and just want to eat from the food of everybody else's labor. This is what we already have, right? Just central banks printing money, just give to their friends and get rich. That's what we already have. So Bitcoin is a fork in the world. It's just a fork to the system. We're going to a system where you have a proof of work. Everybody can be honest, right? Not because you have a lot of money, because you hold a big stake on the network, and then because of that you have the power to change the world, to say what you want to decide. If we change it for consensus right now, like the value of the Bitcoin network is eliminated. It's not about the Bitcoin. It's not about the money. It's about the idea. It's the idea that's the value of Bitcoin. If you remove that, there's no more Bitcoin, right? So it's the idea of having to prove me what you did, right? If you can't prove me, if you can reverse the transaction, there's no value into this. It's just a fake thing, right? If somebody can turn the key, turn off somebody else, that's not a value. The network doesn't have any more value, right? So I want anybody in the world to use the network. I want everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, what your color, what your race, what your background, where you were born. I don't care. You should be able to use the network, right? So this is what proof of work does, right? So anyway, so I hope you guys enjoy. Anyway, I just wanted to throw this out there, and hopefully that helps. And I'll see you again.